Well, all my plans have fallen through. I did want to get out and do a plein air sketch, but today I'm going to have to be indoors and I'm going to do this sketch. So I'll show you how I came up with this and some of the techniques and tricks. And if you want to know more, then stick around. During my thought process of what to paint, I've just dug out a few of the recent photographs that I've took, and so this is going to help me just choose the next painting. There's a nice scene that I took from Hollywood Lake, and then just near me there's a little street, that's quite a nice scene. Because of the weather, obviously it's destroyed my plans of going out and doing some plein air. I do have a place that I really am just dying to get to and take my stuff, but yeah, the Great British weather is not permitting, so I'm just looking at these pictures and trying to decide which one I would like to paint. And I think I'm going to go for this one because of its simplicity, really, and it's quite a nice scene. You see the road leading your eye down, and this tree line, and also these little posts as well, which is nice to lead your eye, and then a little bit of background as well. So I'm going to go for that one. It seems quite straightforward, so I'm gonna give it my best shot, and maybe I can do this one another time. It's quite a nice scene, just a normal everyday scene. Try and make that pretty, but yeah, I'm thinking to go for this one. It's quite a good one, and it gives me more practice with trees. I'm also going to include the materials of this painting as well. I know oftentimes I do get asked, and it's normally when I've not mentioned them, so I will bring that up in this video. So with the photograph that I've selected, I just want to go in and just mark out the sketch so that I know where I'm going, just getting the composition right before I add the pigment. So, and I'm not going to go and copy the photograph exactly, as I don't usually do. So I can't fit in all the trees. I'm just getting 4 of those in, but it's still giving me the element of the scene and the parts that I do like about it. So you've got the darkest parts of this painting, which is the trees. So, and I'm only going to be using 6 colours to do this painting, and also I'm going to be tweaking things, and just like the sky, I'm going to add some blue to it as well. For today's painting, I'm actually using my White Nights, and this is a really nice palette, and I'll show you something really handy about this palette as well. But in this set, I did get this little swatch card, and I've labelled all the paints, the names of the paints as well. And I've set out in the palette exactly the same order that I've got on that swatch. So I know what colours I'm using, and I can run through those as well. And what else I decided to do is use a brush that I have never used. This is a pocket trowel brush, and you can see it's a nice, it's got a nice holder, so you got a nice tip, and this is a synthetic brush, so it's got a nice spring on it. It's a Jackson's brand, and it's quite a large brush. Like I said, I've never used this one, so this is the first time I'm trying this. It's got a nice tip, and I will be using that. It's just, I'm used to using the same brushes, and I took it for granted, and it was only the other day, yesterday, when I was watching a live stream. They spoke about the tip of the paintbrush and how that can be used, and I guess using the same brushes for years and years, I sort of took it for granted, but I really am enjoying using this brush and the tip as well. So you'll see later on in the painting I will do some almost pointillism parts, so I'm just using the tip to get the little marks. And so I've started off with the sky and using some of that mud, and then I'm actually going into a bit of cobalt blue. So that's quite a nice colour. I know different sets of paints, they have different names for colours and different sorts of blues and this, that and the other. Usually I'm used to a French ultramarine and cerulean blue. So cobalt blue is quite a different one. I've not used this palette for some time. But like I said, I'm just going to be using 6 colours, and those are going to flash up on the screen now. So Cad Yellow medium, yellow ochre, which is one of my favourite colours, cobalt blue, sepia, green and neutral black. So yeah, the green, it just says green and it's quite a dark. I suppose it probably like Hooker's green. And then I'm using my Sea Whites of Brighton sketchbook, which I really do enjoy using. So it's a travel journal and it's a watercolour not pressed I was going to say. So it's quite nice texture for painting in for watercolours, any wet medium, and I will be going in quite dark in some areas. So like I said, I'm adding a bit of blue to the sky so it's a bit more interesting. And for the trees, that dark mix that you can see in for the photograph, these the trees and even some of the wall, I'm only going to use a 3 colour combination. So I'm going to use my sepia, which is that one, then the neutral black, which is that one, Payne's grey will do, and then the green. So those are the 3 colours that I'm going to use, and I'm going to make them a combination and adjust as I start adding. So let's just get the first, and I want this quite dark and I want plenty of water, so that I get enough to cover all trees, but it doesn't really matter too much if I run out because I can always mix up some more. So it may give a little different tones and different colour, which is quite nice because they're not going to be exactly the same colours. So it's probably about the same for each of the colours mixed together. I want more of a sort of browny green than a green sort of mix, if that makes sense. So I'm just adding sepia to tone that down a little bit, get a bit more dark. So just touching in some more of the sepia. And I think that's about right. That's the colour that I'm after. And this will also serve as in the wall as well. So it's going to be almost the same colour. And yeah, it's just going to be quite dark. And that's going to give me a really nice contrast for the background as well. Now, one of the things that I mentioned about this palette, I really do enjoy using this when I do grab it. It's got plenty of mixing wells, as you can see, and this this first lid does pop off. I remember the first time it happened, I was like, what sort of a design is this? I think it fell on the floor, but actually it's really nice. Once you pop that off, you've got more space because it's quite a large palette. But obviously once you snap this lid off, it gives you a bit more space. And you don't have to have your paints, especially if you're painting outdoors, you don't have to have your paints on your knee or on your lap or whatever. You can just use this portable sort of palette. So just add in this first layer, and you can see it is quite dark, but not the darkest tone. So I'm going to use layers just to build up this painting naturally. So this would be like the lightest tone of the tree. So the lighter is that you may see in the reference. You can't really see it from here, but you do have some lighter parts of the tree. And then I'm just, while it's still wet, just adding a bit more sepia and a bit of a stronger mix. Just dipping into that sepia and just adding some more to the right hand side, so the light is going to be on the left, and so I've got this nice shadow on the right hand side. So as I start off with this sketch, I'm going quite loose with it, and then as I progress through the painting I will add more sort of fiddly details, but initially I just want to keep things nice and loose, and you'll see that as I add in the other trees. It really is a nice brush, this, and I don't even know why I've never used it. I've had it for probably 4 or 5 years. Let me know in the comment section if there's something that you have in your art supplies, your art materials, that you've just not got around to using yet and you intend on doing and you just haven't. You may be surprised once you do start using that how beneficial it is. So, lesson learned for me. So you can see the mix that I keep adding to that neutral black, green and sepia. I just add maybe more sepia or whichever one, but just sticking to those 3 colour combination just makes things a little bit easier for me, just to add that frustration free. Watercolors. Like I said, this one, it wasn't planned, so to speak. I do have a place that I wanted to get to, but like on the way home then, as I picked my wife up from work, it absolutely lashed it down. I don't know, we just seem to have gone backwards with the weather. It feels like we're back in January, February at the moment. We have little bits of sunshine and then the rain just comes, follows, and looking at the sky, you just know it's going to rain anyway. So hopefully once the weather gets a bit brighter and a bit drier, then I will get out to the place that I'm planning on next time, and that will be quite exciting. I'm excited about that. I was thinking about it last night, trying to get myself ready for today to go out and sketch that. So I'm progressing through the painting now using sap green and yellow ochre. Not sap green, sorry. This is my White Nights palette. See, I'm so used to using my M. Graham's, but this is the green and a touch of Cad Yellow medium. I got a bit of yellow ochre in the tree just above the field. And so, yeah, just sticking to just those 6 colours, and I will be building up layers and adding detail to those, and you will see some pen going in there as well later on, just to get some of that definition, which I like to do. You can do it sort of subtle so that it does fit in with the painting and it doesn't look so obvious for your darks, that sort of thing. I really hope you're getting value from this video. I hope it helps. You know, it can be quite difficult to tackle landscape paintings. I know that I said it looks straightforward and quite simple in the composition, but I know I'm trying to stop saying things like that, because I know there are people out there if you struggle with watercolours and landscapes and all that sort of thing. I'm just trying my best to sort of break things down into sort of layman's terms, terms which are quite easy to understand. I don't want to go too fast or anything like that, but you can see what I'm doing here with the pen. Just adding little tiny dots of detail and little lines. I want that right hand side of the tree to be quite sharp and quite dark. It is probably the darkest part of the painting, that and some parts of the wall. So that's why I'm using the pen, just to give me just some more definition, some more texture, and obviously give that real sort of dark element of the painting. And once you do get those dark parts, it really does help the lights to shine as well. So any light areas in the painting, it just brings them forward, helps them to pop, and it gives a nice sort of dimension. It's not so flat, the painting. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So again, I'm still in that mix, just varying that mix, a bit more sepia this time, and just where I've gone in with a pen, just going by the side of it so it's got a smoother transition, so it's looking round the tree, it's giving the tree some form. And I've also got the shadow underneath the lower branch, if you can see that, which is quite nice. I like that. There is a shadow in the reference, and I really wanted to get that in. So I touched upon it last video that I did about artist license, how you can change things, how you can just choose what you have in the composition. So it is really good to have a reference to go from. Like I said, there was a few references that I was picking between, and you don't have to slave over every detail. You can just get the elements of the scene, and don't beat yourself up when it comes to using the reference. You can just use it as a loose study, so you can mark out, plan the composition with a pencil, and then when you're happy with the position of things, you can sort of use the reference less to fill in the rest. So it gives it a bit of your stamp on it, if you know what I mean, and it's less copying the photo as you see it. And I have realised that I've forgotten to put in the post. I did mean to do that, genuinely, but you can see the post after the second tree to the right. There is a post, and I did mean to include that, but I've got to the point now where I've finished the painting, so I'm not going to beat myself up about that. It would have been a nice little feature, but it is what it is, and I will be adding those little posts at the bottom, so I'll add some of those just to give some of that detail. So I'm now using some of that Cad Yellow medium, and I'm mixing that with the green mix that I pre-mixed. So that's yellow ochre and the green, so I'm just adding Cad Yellow to that. And this is going to give me the nice bright yellow leaves of the trees, which is a really nice sort of vibrant autumn colour. So I'm beginning to build up my darks now with the pen. So I really do enjoy using pens when I paint in watercolours. It just gives really nice definition, and especially in tree limbs and branches, even grass and that sort of thing, it just gives a nice touch if you want something dark. And then like I did on the right hand side of the trees, I wanted the darker parts and I used the pen for that. And there's just a few lines in the wall as well where you can see between the bricks, the rocks. So I think it's quite effective. But I really do hope that you like this scene, and hopefully if the weather changes and allows me to get out, then I'll get out and do some plein air. So thanks for watching. Hope you like this one. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.